So, Stacey, there have been a whole lot of questions about what happens to veterans' benefits once they pass away. Can you give us some help with that?
That usually is a big question from veterans as well as their surviving family members, for sure, because for whatever reason, probably obvious reasons, you don't really think about that for most of the time that you're alive, right?
Right.
And then when you're getting closer, you want to, you start worrying about that. You want to make sure, that your family is going to be taken care of. And there is definitely a misconception that the benefits the veteran is receiving are going to just pass on to the spouse or the family.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen that way. So sometimes it's a really easy, really quick, there's not a lot of process to it. Best case scenario, this happens, the spouse files, and the VA grants it relatively quickly. And that's in the case where the veteran's death is directly caused by, or not directly, but could be contributed to also by a service-connected condition, and it's obvious. Right? So that's going to be, and I guess you can kind of touch on what are the ways that make that an easier claim.
So for example, let's say that the veteran is service-connected for a cardiac condition, and he dies of a heart attack. That's definitely going to be something service-connected. It's obviously related to the cause of death. And so that's probably going to be a pretty cut and dry, which hopefully in situations like that, we would not need to get involved.
Right.
It's going to be the case as to where it's a contributing cause of death, or it's not quite clear that it is a contributing cause of death, but something that we can work to prove.
So ultimately, what needs to happen is when the veteran does pass, then the surviving spouse or eligible family members have to file one of two applications. So they're either going to file the application for dependency and indemnity compensation, which is the benefit that surviving spouses will receive monthly. So very similarly to the veteran receiving their monthly benefit, the spouse would receive a monthly benefit going forward. It's just not going to be the same amount. It's a set amount for every surviving spouse. There's not a difference between whether the veteran was 10% or whether the veteran was 100%. If the death was caused by the service-connected condition, regardless, the surviving spouse is going to get this one benefit, and it's a certain amount. Like Shelley was just mentioning, if it's clear on its face, then the VA will grant, and usually it's going to be a fairly fast process. But sometimes it's not, and then an appeal process would have to start, and evidence development, all of the same things that typically happen when the veteran is trying to prove their case. So the other form that would be filed in the alternative or along with the application for dependency and indemnity compensation is the substitution of claimant form. Can you talk a little bit more on that?
Sure. So the substitution of claimant form is going to be filed by the eligible surviving spouse or family member. That, if approved by the VA, is going to put the applicant or the family member into the place of the veteran. So let's say the veteran had a claim that was pending at the RO, at the regional office, and he had appealed it up to the board, and that claim was pending for a number of years, and unfortunately the veteran passed away while it was pending. The eligible family member could apply a substitution of party as long as they're approved. Then when that decision comes from the board, if it is awarded, then they are going to be awarded the benefits that would have been entitled and payable to the veteran. Now that is different than the DIC benefits because those are not ongoing benefits. That's what we refer to as accrued benefits. So they'll be entitled to all of the benefits that would have been payable to the veteran. If the family member feels that at that time, now that they are service connected for whatever the condition may be, that it could be related to the cause of death, then they would have to initiate the DIC benefits that Stacey was referring to get that process started.
Right, different than, but also can be concurrent, right?
Correct.
Like you could do both. So if the veteran had a claim pending at the time of the veteran's death, then you're going to want to make sure that that surviving spouse or family member is filing the application to substitute as claimant so that they can take over that claim for the veteran. And then there's this other separate and additional benefit that they could be entitled to with the dependency and indemnity compensation.
We hope you enjoyed our videos. If you have any questions, please drop us a comment. If you'd like to see more of our videos, please like and subscribe.